So the 5 game-changing stock market websites that I'm gonna share with you, make sure you go according to this sequence, because when you follow this sequence, this is how you pick profitable stocks, especially if you're a long-term investor. And understand that each website has its own strength and weaknesses, so you need to understand which website is suitable for which specific function. So the first website that we are going to use for stock screening is this website called finviz.com. The first thing you need to do to screen out stocks is to go to screener over here. Okay. By the way, I put all the website descriptions that I'll mention in the description below. Okay. And the good thing about Finviz, what I like about it is that you can filter out based on the general characteristic, okay, under descriptive, like market cap. So if you're more conservative, you would pick the large cap stocks, mega cap stocks to invest in. If you're a dividend investor, mega, large caps too. If you're a dividend investor, then you want to pick a certain dividend requirement. And one of the ways to filter out stocks to invest in is to invest in what you understand, okay? So let's say if you have been working in the energy industry for a long time, then you want to pick energy stocks, okay? Then you show you mainly all the energy stocks. For IPO, I don't recommend this to beginners, okay? And then you can filter out based on fundamentals too. Now, if you want me to make a detailed video about fundamentals, let me know, because I can do like a whole course about it on YouTube. Now, some people like to filter based on PE ratio, but if you're a growth investor, it doesn't matter to you, because stocks above 40 PE can still grow really fast, can still have the potential to grow in the medium term. But if you're a value investor, you will want a lower PE ratio, even though PE is not a great measure of value, but it's a shortcut way, okay? And there are all these individual filters that you can key in. So I can do a video about current ratio, quick ratio, just one video about that. Subscribe if you don't miss out, okay? And then you can also filter out based on technicals. If you want to trade or invest in only uptrending stocks, then you would want the price to be above the 200 SMA. So when you filter out based on that, you would only have uptrending stocks for now. If this is too overwhelming for you, you can click on charts, okay? And then when you filter out for uptrending stocks, make sure that you don't trade against the trend, okay? Unless you're a value investor, because trading and investing in stocks is very, very different. So you can see that if you filter out using 200 SMA, okay, price must be above 200 SMA, you will see all the uptrending stocks, even though some of them are quite volatile. Wouldn't touch them, but a lot of them are on a nice uptrend. Okay, now there are many ways you can filter out. Again, I could do a whole video about it. You can go to groups over here, and then you can see which are the best performing stocks based on 1 day performance, 1 week performance, 1 month performance. You don't want to buy stocks that are doing badly at the bottom, especially if you're holding for a couple of weeks. So it depends on your time frame. Let's say if you're a swing trader, okay, you would want to look at 1 week and 1 month performance. If you're an investor that invest in the long term, then you would want to look at the higher time frames. So those at the bottom, 1 year performance, okay, and it seems like most of the sectors right now, they are doing pretty well. A rising tide would lift up all the boats. So if your company's sector is not doing well, very likely the performance of the whole entire sector is going to drag it down. Okay, you want your probability to be on your side. Now, not only does the sector have to perform well, it has to be on an uptrend. Okay, so what you gotta do is that you can come up here and then click on charts, and what's gonna happen is that it's gonna show you, oh, basic material sector is on an uptrend. You don't want that sector to be way below this orange line, especially when it comes to the 200 SMA, which is the long-term MA. All right. So now you can see that a lot of the sectors right now are on an uptrend, except for consumer cyclical. Of course, there are a lot more functions for this website, but these are the main things that you need to take note of. If you're a beginner, I don't want to overwhelm you first. Let's move on to the second website. So once you pick your stock, put it onto the watch list. The next thing you gotta do is that you gotta look at that individual stock, okay? And then get a big picture, okay? How is it performing? Roughly, don't need to go into details first. So to get this overall company overview. For the company overview, you can use this website called Yahoo Finance. I'm sure you know this already. Now, the good thing about Yahoo Finance is that it just gives you a quick overview of the main key metrics you gotta take note of: market cap, average volume, beta, how volatile is it as compared to the stock market index. Now, P ratio, sky high levels. Like I said just now, for growth stocks, it can still keep going even though it has a P ratio of above 50. Even though the typical benchmark is like 15, bottom here, it will give you all the relevant news about Nvidia. Okay, so it compiles all of the news from various sources: Google Focus, Barron's, Global Newswire, into one place. Now, there are people who charge for this service, and it's free here. And when you scroll down here, there's a performance overview, and it also gives you an idea of how the competitors are performing. Now, when it comes to evaluating stocks, it's very important to look at how is this stock doing as compared to its closest competitors. So, Nvidia's closest competitor, AMD, TSM, Broadcom, right, INTC, Intel, Micron, so on and so forth. And the statistics over here, these are the key metrics only because there are a lot more financial ratios. But if you're a beginner, try not to care too much about that for now. And when you scroll down all the way, you would have research analysis. Later, I'll give you a better website as compared to this because this is just a very brief summary. Okay. And also, when I want to take a quick look at the trend, okay, I will just come to Yahoo Finance to look at the overall trend. Okay, for the past many years, is it on an uptrend? Is this stock doing well? If the stock has been doing badly for the past 10 years, I wouldn't even touch it. You don't even need to bother about other websites. Okay, so once that's done, you want to go into detail of the company that you really like. So once you've looked at Yahoo Finance and be like, you know what, I like this, I want to see more of it. Then we go to the details. Now, this is where we go to the numbers, financial ratios, fundamental analysis, financial statements, the financial performance. Now, if you're a trader, this wouldn't matter to you too much, but you still got to look at PE ratio and other key financial ratios. But if you're an investor, please master this, because even Warren Buffett said accounting is the most important skill if you want to become a successful value investor. Now, but the problem is a lot of people don't have a finance background. They don't have an accounting background. So this is going to be hard for them to learn. Some people don't even bother. Let me give you an easy, user-friendly website so that you can evaluate this like a pro. And like I said, I'll put links down in the description below. When you sign up with my affiliate link, you'll get special perks as compared to if you were to sign up yourself. So I'm giving you perks, okay? And this website is called Simply Wall Street. As the name suggests, it's Wall Street but made simple for beginners who don't have a finance background. Also very useful for intermediate and expert investors and traders. Because the moment you come here, let's say you pick a stock that you like. Okay, this one is a Singapore stock. Let's say you pick a stock that you like. Just now we saw AMD, right? Okay, so let's look at AMD. Immediately, you can tell from here. Now, this is called snowflake analysis, not the strawberry generation snowflake millennial, okay? Snowflake analysis basically tells you, is the future potential great? How's the past performance like? How's the financial health of the company? How's the dividends like? Is it overvalued or undervalued? Now, a good stock is one that has green all over. Green all over. Now, it also gives you a summary here. Earnings are forecast to grow 33.48% per year. Earnings grew by 102% over the past year. No risk detected from EMD. No risk. Are you sure about that? But this is what I like. Better than Yahoo Finance. Sorry, Yahoo Finance, but you can see immediately, okay, which of its competitors are doing better. You can see Qualcomm, okay, is doing pretty well because the more green it is, the better is the company. So when this whole thing is red color, you better avoid, okay? It gives you a history of the price performance, okay? But there are some sections which I particularly like, okay? What I like about this, okay, is that it gives you an idea whether the company overvalued or undervalued, because the intrinsic value, the real value of the company, is calculated to be 166.02, but right now it is at 233.08. So you are paying 40% more for this stock. Now, because intrinsic values are subjective calculation, different people would have different values, so don't trust that number entirely, okay? Because some analysts, they would have a totally different intrinsic value, okay? The P ratio, sky high levels, and it also tells you why. As AMD is profitable, we use its price to earnings ratio for relative valuation analysis, because for companies that are not profitable, we don't use PE ratio, we use price to sales ratio, okay? And also compare P ratio versus the peers in a nice graphical format. Now, the cool thing about Simply Wall Street is that everything is presented to you in a graphical format, like infographic. I think a lot of people would prefer to look at pictures. So it's very user friendly. See, everything is presented visually. And analyst price target. So this purple line over here, average 1 year price target. All right. So they expect that the price would go down slightly in 2026 and then go back up. And when you come down here, so tells you the top shareholders. So make sure that there are institutional holdings. Very important. So let me show you a really bad company, and you'll see that the whole snowflake analysis is basically red. And one of the risks that you see is that it has a high level of debt. Okay, so the next step is to conduct research confirmation. What does this mean? Now, if you are a super experienced trader or investor, you can skip this part. If you want some confirmation, then you can rely on this website. Now, be careful, because opinions from other people cannot be trusted entirely, because a lot of times analysts, they have conflict of interest, brokers, they have conflict of interest. So you can use this just as a confirmation, but not as a signal for you to buy. You see a difference? And also you can use this website for other purposes too. And this website is called Seeking Alpha. Again, link in the description below. So let's say you go and pick a stock that you really like, okay? AMD. You can go to ratings. Now, one of the strengths about Seeking Alpha is that they have their own team of analysts, okay? And they have their own quant rating. So based on the quant rating, it tells you strong buy. And it also grades the stock like a report card. Valuation C minus, growth A, profitably A, momentum A, revision C plus. Okay, so you can look at Seeking Alpha's own analyst tool, and you can see their analyst breakdown. Okay, the overall consensus is buy, and you can see their breakdown the past 30 days. Okay, as well as their rating history when you scroll down here, and when you go back up, you can also see the Wall Street analyst rating. So it's quite different from Seeking Alpha's own analyst rating, alright? Like I said, use it as a confirmation, not a signal to buy. But it gives you more confidence because, okay, most analysts, they are telling you this is a strong buy. Again, when you go down here, you can see the analysis of all the Seeking Alpha analysts, as well as a summary of all the news, relevant news. So if you want a detailed deep dive on this website, let me know too. Okay. Now the next one is technical analysis. Now this is your charting platform. So if you have a broker, you can use their own charting platform. But I realized that a lot of brokers charting platform, they are not so user friendly, especially for beginners. So a free charting platform you can use is TradingView. Now you can key in at most only a few indicators if you use the free version, but if you subscribe to the paid version, you can add more indicators. So you can filter based on candlestick pattern, chart pattern. So let's say you want to filter out the bullish harmony pattern, and it will show over here, right? It will filter out all the bullish harmony pattern for you. Okay, one over here, as well as one over here. And you can see that not all bullish harmony patterns work out, because this one leads to a short-term downtrend instead of a reversal, right? So context is very important. First thing as a beginner you should learn is learn how to read price action. So if you want a detailed tutorial on how to read candlesticks, okay, I'll put the video somewhere on this screen. Subscribe if you don't want to miss out on future videos.